Welcome to Reach Out, the program that highlights the amazing work carried out by local nonprofits, the wonderful people who lead these organizations, and the committed volunteers who give of themselves but wind up receiving even more. I'm Bernadette Wagner, co-director of Volunteer Washington County, and my guest today is Cathy Thomas, community manager for the American Cancer Society. The American Cancer Society is a nationwide community-based health organization committed to eliminating cancer as a major health problem. The Society seeks to diminish the suffering of those afflicted with cancer and strives to prevent it through education, advocacy, and research. I'm pleased Cathy is joining us today. She will be talking about the American Cancer Society's mission, share important information about a new research study that is just being launched now, and also tell us how interested individuals can participate. Thank you for joining me today, Cathy.
Thank you, Bernadette. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Let me just ask you a little bit about the history of the organization here in Washington County.
The American Cancer Society has had an office in Washington County for many, many years. I'm not sure the exact date, but I know it's been at least 30 years. The American Cancer Society itself actually just celebrated its 100th birthday. May 22nd, the American Cancer Society turned 100.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yes. And we're the sponsor of birthdays, so it all fits.
That's great. That's great. And how long have you been with your position?
I have been a community manager for 7 years, but I was a volunteer for 4 years before that. That's how I got involved. I became involved when I lost both my parents to cancer and actually got involved through the Relay for Life.
And I do love that. I love to point out that volunteering often can lead to paid employment.
Yes, it does.
So
it certainly does.
That's super. Cathy, you have a really important message for us today about a research study. It's called the it's called the Cancer Prevention Study 3, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, it is a landmark research study by the American Cancer Society that we hope will change the face of cancer for this generation and for generations to come. And it is the third large study of its kind.
Okay. And when were the other two studies conducted?
The first study was actually begun in the 1950s. It found the link between cigarette smoking and cancer. And the researchers were actually trying to prove that cigarettes were not harmful. We know how that went. Now it's common knowledge that cigarettes are linked to lung cancer, but it took 3 years and 188,000 volunteers to prove that.
Right.
The second study, which began in the 1980s and is still ongoing, showed the link between secondhand smoke, increasing the risk for certain cancers, increasing the risk of mortality from cancers. It also showed that a good diet could reduce your risk and that exercise also was important. It also showed that the quality of our air has an impact on cancer and actually led to some new regulations through the EPA.
And does this study that's coming up, does it have a particular area of interest it's looking at? Do they have some parameters that they want to study in order to get to prove a certain evidence?
They're actually looking at everything. They're looking at genetics, they're looking at lifestyle, they're looking at environment, all the things that could have an effect on cancer. We know now that lifestyle has such an effect. Researchers estimate that maybe 50%, if not more, of cancers could be prevented by lifestyle change, but they're changes that we need to teach children.
Right.
That they will carry through their lives, staying away from tobacco products, sun safety, healthy diet, and exercise. If we could get those things instilled in this next generation, we could see a lot less cancer.
So how do we talk to our youth? And it's not just the youth. I know so many people my age that are still going to tanning beds.
Exactly.
I mean, how do we get that message around about that this is something that's serious, cause melanomas, which are fatal illnesses?
Right.
How do we, what is the strategy that the Cancer Society will employ?
We do try to reach out to children, and what's funny is a lot of times I see children, when I'm at health fairs, bringing their parents over and showing them things I have, saying, see, I told you smoking was bad. We do have a sister organization because as a nonprofit we cannot lobby, but we have a sister organization, ACS CAN, which is Cancer Action Network, which does lobby for changes in the laws. One of the things they're working on is we've got the law passed that under 18 you have to have a parent's signature to use a tanning bed. We're trying to outlaw anyone under the age of 18 using a tanning bed, because they are so dangerous. We know that. And parents just aren't knowledgeable enough to understand. We're also working on the law that would prevent people from smoking in cars with young children, because they're basically held hostage.
And I did hear a little bit about that legislation. That did it go through that they have to sign it just one time, or they have to have a parent signature each time they use a tanning bed?
That I'm not sure. I just know there is a parent signature, but most parents are simply signing off because they don't know the risk. And even the area dermatologists have said they have seen such an increase in melanoma among 20-somethings that they used to see in 50 and 60-year-olds. So it's definitely on the increase.
Okay, and so sun, diet, and exercise. All
right. And tobacco, staying away from tobacco.
Products. Who is eligible for this study, and how are you recruiting?
Anyone between the ages of 30 and 65 who have never been diagnosed with cancer, unless it's basal or squamous cell skin cancer, can still participate. They have to commit to a long-term study.
How long?
These studies run 20, 30 years.
Well,
Like I say, the one in the 80s, they're still following people. They do have to show up in person for the initial enrollment, because they do a waist measurement and they also take a blood sample. But they do not have to be a Washington County resident, and there is absolutely no charge.
And where do they sign up?
They can go to cps3washingtoncounty.org and make an appointment. We have 5 sites around Washington County where people can enroll. And the sites are located, and we're doing it on different days, different times, to make it convenient for people. And the dates are between July 9th and July 13th. We're doing Robinwood Medical Center on July 9th. On the 10th, we have enrollments at Bridge of Life Church downtown, and then at Haven Lutheran Church in the North End. We have enrollments in Hancock and in Boonesboro also.
Well, that's terrific. I'd like to thank Cathy for joining us today for our show, and thank you, our viewing audience, for watching. This year marks the 100th anniversary of the American Cancer Society. It has made tremendous strides in helping to prevent and treat cancer, and more importantly, it has shown our society how to compassionately treat those diagnosed with cancer. In celebration of this milestone, the American Cancer Society has posted 100 stories of hope on its website. I encourage you to take a look. Be prepared to be inspired. Have a great day.